welcome back to my YouTube channel. I haven't videoed a video for literally, I think it's been 6 weeks, so the last time I will have spoken to you will have been the literal joys of being in a house full of people and trying to film. So, where did I get to? So the last time I spoke to you would have been when I was in Bali, so our second to last week that we were there. I think I filmed a kind of like my morning routine whilst away, and I did some yoga, and that was really nice. I haven't picked up my camera since then because, to be honest, with everything that's been going on and everything that happened, it was all just a bit of a whirlwind. And I'll talk about kind of what happened from then to getting home and what's happened since then. But I kind of now feel at a point where I can like discombobulate everything that happened and try and like process it and then kind of carry on and talk through and I don't know, just kind of get back to real life. So this video is going to be kind of like a bit of a life update and also quarantine activities, so like what I've been doing whilst I've been in quarantine. Yeah, in quarantine? In lockdown. I'm not quarantined anymore. But yeah, so I just thought I would film this and bring everyone up to speed because honestly it was just like the strangest experience. We were away, everything was kind of fine. It was like the last week of March, or second to last week of March, and we were, there is a phone ringing somewhere and I can hear it really loudly and I don't know where it is. Right, so the last time I filmed, obviously we were in our second to last accommodation. We then were supposed to be meeting Tom's mum and nanny on the Sunday. They were supposed to be flying out, and we were then going to move. That phone's ringing again. We were then going to be moving on to our final hotel in Bali, which was like a nice hotel, not where Tom and I had been staying previously, even though nowhere that we stayed was kind of not nice. Everywhere was kind of nice and picturesque. So yeah, we were supposed to be moving there, so we woke up on the Saturday and Australia announced 14 days quarantine for anyone entering Australia after that Sunday night. So Tom's mum and nanny had to unfortunately make the decision not to come because they were only supposed to be away for I think 16 days. So they would have been in quarantine for the whole time that they were away, and then literally had 2 days not in quarantine and then would have had to fly home. And we were obviously staying with Tom's family for our time in Melbourne, so I just don't think it would have been fair to like try and all self-quarantine in someone else's home. So they made the decision that they weren't coming. Tom and I had to then kind of think, what are we going to do? We'd already booked our hotel for that last week in Bali, so we decided we'd go to that hotel. And Tom was obviously gutted, I was gutted that potentially we were going to have to cut our travel short because Australia was kind of not letting anybody in, slash if we did go in, then what would be the circumstances, eventualities, if we needed to get home or anything like that. So I decided to contact all of my relatives that we were supposed to be staying with, because we were really lucky that Tom has family in Melbourne, I have family in Sydney and Newcastle, and then I have family in New Zealand as well. Contacted my family. They were like, completely understand your decision, we just don't know what's going to happen, I'm really sorry that we're not going to get to see you, which was not great. But one of my wonderful family in New Zealand messaged back and said that we could stay with them for 14 days to self-isolate until kind of it blows over, and then we would be able to kind of stay with them until we had decided to come home, which was supposed to be end of April, start of May, so pretty much now. To be fair, I think when we rebooked our flights, which I'll get on to, we booked our flight home from Auckland for today, which is kind of weird timing, but you know. So once we had confirmation of that, I spoke to my mum because I was like, what do you think? Do you think like this is a good idea? And she was like, you know what, opportunities like this don't come around very often. Go and stay with it's my mum's cousin, and they'll look after you. It'll be great. Once it's over, you can then, you know, go out and explore and spend time in New Zealand, just you and Tom. So we were like, okay, great, this sounds like a good idea. We're starting to get excited. We purchased our, like, you have to have like a residency, like tourism visa type thing to enter New Zealand, and also in order to enter New Zealand you have to have a flight out. So we bought our tourism permit visa thing. We booked our flights from Bali to New Zealand, which were booked for the following Sunday. We also booked our flights home, which were Auckland to Heathrow. All booked, ready to go. Anyway, as the days kind of carried on, I was feeling a little bit more nervous just because things were happening. We were seeing more stuff in the news. Everything was kind of like going on and we didn't really know kind of what was happening. And also, my mum and dad had been like great throughout the whole time I was travelling. They'd not really been like, they tried not to scare us or like, you know, go on too much about anything that was happening at home. But it was the Thursday night, no, so on the Thursday of that week, New Zealand announced that they wouldn't be taking or allowing anybody to enter New Zealand that didn't have a New Zealand passport, that wasn't a New Zealand citizen. So that kind of happened on the Thursday and I was like, oh shit, now we're really buggered, like what are we gonna do? So I got onto Emirates straight away because one of the reasons we booked with Emirates was because they had like this refund cancellation clause that if something did happen you would be eligible to kind of get a refund or to get a travel voucher. So I requested a refund for our flights from Bali to New Zealand, and I requested a travel voucher for our flights from Auckland to home so that we could then rebook it for Bali to home. And then the Thursday night there was an earthquake in the middle of the night, which was like 6.4 on the Richter scale, and like the bathroom doors in the hotel room were like swinging and banging. It was pretty scary. And then when we woke up on the Friday morning, my mum and dad had like messaged me to be like, look, things are starting to get a little bit kind of more strict. There was talk of lockdown. Lockdown hadn't come into effect yet, but there was kind of people panic buying. There was nothing in the supermarkets. They were starting to like close down sporadic bits and pieces, saying that you weren't allowed to like have gatherings of more than 3 people or whatever. And they'd messaged me just a bit like, I'm not really sure what's going to happen in Bali, but things are starting to take a turn for the worse in the UK, so I would probably look to try and come home if you can, because I'd obviously messaged them the day before to say like, we're not able to go to New Zealand anymore, it's just not going to happen. So Tom was like, we'll be fine, we'll just ride it out. We've got, not knowing how bad it was going to get, and we also had a visa for Bali until mid-April. I will also show you my dress and tell you where it's from after this, because it's so cute. So following that, yeah, Tom was like, we'll be fine, like don't worry about it. Where I was really starting to panic. I was reading like the government website, which was telling anybody that was overseas to urgently make your way home now. So we obviously needed to leave that hotel on the Friday as well, so we had to book another hotel for another 2 days. And we were like packing Friday morning and I just had an absolute hissy fit. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I am not waiting around like a sitting duck just waiting to see what happens. We are going to the airport and we are going to speak to somebody at Emirates and we're going to find out what we can do, because obviously I'd applied for a refund and I'd applied for a travel voucher and I'd heard nothing. I'd spoken to our travel insurance, I'd heard nothing. I'd send them emails, I was waiting for them on live chat. Nobody was responding. Obviously because a lot of people are in the same situation, but still it doesn't aid your panic, does it really? So I did all of that. We did end up going to the airport and I waited in a queue for the Emirates desk for around 3 hours. And luckily, like literally so luckily, we spoke to the people at Emirates and they managed to get us on a flight home, going out Saturday night, Sunday morning. It was like, I think the flight was at 11:45, and landing in Manchester on the Sunday night, which I think it was Sunday the 21st, so day before lockdown started. But anyway, in order for us to get home we had to fly, so we had luckily had all of our bags with us. We had to fly because no, there was literally every flight out of Bali airport was fully booked, so we had to get a internal flight from Bali to Jakarta, which we booked, and it was like £30 each. It wasn't expensive, it was fine. And we booked that for literally like, I think it was like 6 o'clock that night, so we just hung around in the airport a bit more and then went and got that flight. Landed in Jakarta at about 8 o'clock, went to a hotel, stayed overnight in Jakarta, and then obviously our flight from Jakarta to Dubai wasn't until 11:45 the next night, so we kind of hung around in the hotel room until 12 when we had to check out, and then we literally just sat in the lobby with our laptops until like, I think it was 6 o'clock, because the people at the airport had said like there's a lot more security measures going on, so try and get there early if you can. So we got to the airport for 6, waited and got on our flight. Got on our flight to Dubai, landed in Dubai at 6 AM, and our flight to Manchester wasn't until I think 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so again we had another long wait. But the whole time that we were travelling, like I had just built it up in myself, like I'm fully prepared for these flights to be cancelled, and I'm going to prepare myself for the worst, that they're going to be cancelled, so then I'm not shocked if it does happen and I can sort it and I can get on with it. But thank goodness they weren't cancelled, because on both flights they were absolutely jam-packed. Like every single seat was taken, and it was like quite chaotic. Like there was somebody sat in front of us on our flight from Jakarta to Dubai, and she was American, and they were like calling people's names out over the tannoy. This man came over and was like, "Are you supposed to be flying to Dallas?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm flying to Dallas." He was like, "Dallas airport's closed now, we need to transfer you to somewhere else. Where else can you go?" Which obviously in America, like everywhere's so far apart. I think she had to like fly to like New Orleans or something. Whereas like for someone in the UK, if it was me, if they were like, "Oh, your flight to Manchester is now not going to be able to get to Manchester, but we can send you to Birmingham," I'd be like, "Oh, that's fine, like I'm equidistant from each airport. It's like less than an hour each way." But with that, I mean, imagine you just be like, "Oh, okay." And like the people in front of us in the queue, when I queued at the Emirates desk, they were trying to get to, I think they were trying to get to Argentina. Argentina was completely closed. There weren't any flights in, even if you're an Argentinian citizen. So the closest place they could get to was Rio de Janeiro. And also, even though we have flights that were more expensive than the flights that were coming up online to book to get home, we still had to purchase, like Emirates still charged us each to pay to get onto that flight. So our flights home were like probably nearly £1,000 each, which is honestly ridiculous when online they're like £300 to get home from Bali. But anyway, that didn't matter because it meant that we were getting home. So yeah, and we managed to get on a flight back to Manchester, and we landed at like, I think it was like 8 o'clock at night on Sunday night. And my mum was like, "You're so lucky, literally the whole arrivals desk is cancelled. There's literally your flight, which is Manchester tonight, and another Emirates flight tomorrow night that's coming from Dubai that's still on the board." And that was the same also at Jakarta airport when we got there. Like my heart was in my mouth because like everything's cancelled. Like 1 or 2 flights that were still going. Obviously everyone's panicking, trying to get home. So yeah, we managed to get home, and then obviously the day later, which was the Monday, we went into lockdown. So that's kind of where we're up to in terms of like what I've done since I last spoke to you. And obviously I didn't film that last week when we were in that really nice hotel because it was a really weird atmosphere. Everyone in the hotel was talking about how are you getting home, like what are you doing to get home, and we were like trying to sort stuff out ourselves. And although it was really nice and the weather was really good, I just didn't get my camera out. Anyway, now that we've been back in lockdown, obviously for the first 2 weeks we pretty much quarantined. Tom and I were both at my parents' house, so we've got plenty of room to like spread out if anything did happen. Touch wood, nothing did happen. Neither of us have got coronavirus or had caught coronavirus on our travels. And basically since then, obviously I'm home. Like I was home like 6 weeks earlier, 7 weeks earlier than I'd intended. So I've been applying for jobs and stuff, but literally couldn't be a worse time to apply for jobs because everything's on hold, everyone's on recruitment freezes. But I've just tried to stay positive and kind of look for things that are still kind of being recruited for, or I don't know, people have contacted me and said things like, oh, we'll keep you in mind in June when things start to keep moving again, which is good. But anyway, since then, I've just kind of been around the house like most people, I think, catching up with friends, Zoom calls, speaking to my friends on FaceTime, and a lot of my friends have also been furloughed, so they're in a similar situation, that they are just at home, trying to spend as much time at home. Like the highlight of the week is going to the supermarket or going on long walks, and obviously spending loads of time with Pablo. But it kind of brings me on nicely to what I also wanted to talk to you about is, and comment below if any of you have also made like a quarantine purchase, something like to do with exercise or working out. Like, have you got a yoga mat, or have you got a bike, or something like that? Because I've wanted for absolutely ages like a vintage style Dutch bicycle with a basket on the front of it. And can I get one for love nor money, brand new, anywhere? No. So like, I looked on Argos, I looked on Halfords, nowhere has got one. I thought it struck gold last Friday because I purchased a Victoria Pendleton bike on Halfords. I think it was £280. It said it was in stock at our local Halfords, so me and my dad went to Halfords to go and pick it up, and we got there and the mum was like, oh, I'm really sorry, there's actually been a stock error, so we don't have that bike in stock. So I was like, great. But anyway, so I was kind of upset about that because the weather had been so good and I was really looking forward to, we live near a canal and that's kind of like where I walk and run and do all of my exercise, walk the dog. But if you travel a little bit further down the canal, you get to a really nice farm shop, which does have an amazing cafe, which obviously you can't go to now, but you can go and shop in the farm shop. And I had all of this idyllic dreams of being able to ride my bicycle down the canal and go to the fresh farm shop and pick up fresh produce, which were obviously shattered when I couldn't get my bike. And Tom has a bike because he's using one of my brother's bikes that's just been in the garage, which is in like amazing condition that he can ride and use. But anyway, on Monday evening, Tom was looking on Facebook Marketplace. Who knew Facebook Marketplace is like this great thing that sells like absolutely anything? And he found this bike which was being sold secondhand, and I'm not joking, it's like a bike that I've been looking at trying to buy and it's just not in stock anywhere, and we found it secondhand for like the most reasonable price. Literally amazing, and really close to us, so we didn't make an unnecessary journey, we didn't travel further than we needed to. So on Monday night I went and collected that, and I will show you that when I'll take you kind of downstairs, and I might even take you to the post office with me because I've got to go to the post office. Could ride my bike. But yeah, and we found it, and I'll try and insert a picture of what it looked like when we got there, or at least it looks brand new, it looks like it is on the site, so I'll insert a picture of that. So when I got home I was like amazed with this bike, and then last night, because it rained all day on Tuesday, last night when it was a bit sunny after I'd had dinner, I cleaned it all and polished it. It was a little bit rusty where like the basket had been on it, and I got rid of all of that. It literally looks brand new, like WD-40, like the parcel shelf, so that all works now. And I also purchased a proper wicker basket with a handle, which I have installed myself this morning when it arrived onto the bike, and it just looks perfect, and it's really good because you can, it's like a wicker basket and you can actually clip it in and out to like pick it up and take it into the farm shop with you to shop. And also Pablo fits into it, how funny. But yeah, so I'm like so made up with that. I can't wait to use that. The weather's supposed to be good on Saturday, so I think that's my plan on Saturday, to go on a lovely long bike ride to the farm shop, pick up some bits and come back. But yeah, so that's kind of been like one thing that I've done. The other thing is, like a lot of people, I think a lot of people have been shopping and like wearing, like getting loungewear bits, which I do love, because I've found from being in lockdown, one of the things that really is like innate and rates highly with me is that what I'm wearing affects my mood. And like when I was at work, if I had a big meeting or something important happening that day, I'd always make sure I was dressed in something that I felt really good in. I felt smart and I was ready to kind of take on the day. And if I'm not dressed like that, then I'm just like, what's the point? Like, today I'm dressed up, I've actually got makeup on, and I feel great. Like, I've done my hair, I've put on a nice dress, which I'll show you. It's from H&M. I'm buying some bits from H&M. But yeah, and like, at least when the weather was good last week, you could put on like a nice summer dress and feel kind of nice and dressed up. Whereas when the weather's like this and it's raining, you just feel a bit like, I'm not leaving the house anyway. So I guess it is nice to wear like a nice lounge set, and I've got a fab tie-dye jumper that I got for my birthday, which is kind of great because I can wear it with like different coloured joggers. I've got some lilac joggers and some white ones that go nicely with it. But I guess that's like a real downside which can affect a lot of people being stuck in the house. Like, you either just don't feel the need to dress up, and that can affect you mentally because you're just a bit like, what's the point in getting up when I'm just not even really going to be making any effort. But yeah, so that's kind of something that I've tried to do a little bit more, like actually make the effort. Even if I'm not wearing makeup, I'll just put on a nice dress or feel better. And I've also been trying, like most girls probably, like trying not to wash your hair often because you just don't need to. I've been sleeping with castor oil in my hair to try and make it grow, because it has grown quite a lot since I was away. And I think I went 5 days last week without washing my hair, which is fine because you just like stick it in a pony and no one knows, but I guess that's a benefit of kind of being in the house. But it's nice when you actually do get to wash your hair and you just feel a bit normal. I've been baking a lot. Baked carrot cake on Tuesday, so that was nice. But yeah, like most people, just kind of been getting up to stuff in the house. I've been doing a lot of reading, but I feel like I've rambled, but I kind of wanted to like point out in this video that I've wanted to create and kind of continue on the journey that I was on in terms of like making a video each week and putting out and making exciting content. But I just felt like, one, I felt a bit down about the fact that I'd had to come home and our travelling was basically put a stop and we don't know when we're going to get to go again. That's the reality of it. And also I felt like everybody is making at-home content, which, because we don't have another choice, and I was just like feeling quite uninspired by everything and just a bit like, I don't really want to. So I took some time out to kind of like prioritise what I wanted to do and look into kind of what motivates me and inspires me. So I've been looking on Pinterest at different things, and I guess everybody says that everything happens for a reason. So maybe in a year's time, Tom and I will look back and be like, that's the reason we had to come home, and it all worked out okay in the end. Which, a few things have happened which are kind of good and are in the pipeline that wouldn't have happened if we were still away. So I'm just trying to focus on that and be positive for the time being. But I think now I will show you what I'm wearing. I'll also show you my special bike. And I'll probably take you with me to the post office and see what else we get up to. But yeah, so I guess this is kind of like a catch-up, a bit of a vlog. But yeah, so I will show you my dress now. So this is the dress. It's quite long, so I guess if you were smaller you might have to potentially adjust it, because I'm quite tall and it even fits me down to my ankles. But it's got this beautiful shearling detail, can you see that? And these huge puff sleeves, which you can obviously wear longer or shorter. Let me try it longer. And yeah, just fits really sweet. Obviously I don't really have anywhere to wear this right now, but I just bought it with some birthday money that I got for my birthday. Because I just thought I wanted something to pick me up. But something like this is actually quite nice to wear around the house. And obviously it's just kind of like a throw-on dress. I guess it's a bit dramatic wearing it around the house, but I can't wait for it to be summer and to be allowed out and be able to wear this. Let me just style it and see what bag I'd probably put with this. So we've picked this bag. My little YSL envelope clutch on a chain. I think it's cute because it's just like a pop of colour with the black. I could also probably put my black YSL bag with this, or even my Chloe bag would be cute. Or I've got like a big bucket Louis Vuitton bag, which would also look nice, the brown with the black. But yeah, can't wait to style this up and wear it properly when I'm allowed out. I'll put a link in below in the description box of this bag, and of the, did I say of this bag? I mean the dress. I'll show you the dress, which one it is. And also, I've got an offer on H&M at the moment for 10% off, so I think if you sign up to be one of their members, you can also get 10% off, which is good because I think this dress was like 37 or something like that, which is a good price point anyway. But yeah, when the weather's a bit better, I'll take you out to see my bike. So hello, I've got changed because it's freezing cold and I'm going to go and run some errands. But I just thought I wanted to show you my bike. So this is it. I cleaned it all, like wiped the seat and everything. Just like navy blue, proper classic. And then this is the basket. So cute. And you can actually take this off if you just literally, let me see if I can do this with one hand. You click this and it just comes off. Cute, and it has a handle, but it will be just brill to go to the shop on. I did want to go to the post office on this, but I just don't think I'm going to chance it because I've got some letters to post and it's fitting again already. But yeah, so I think I'm going to leave this vlog here. I hope you've enjoyed kind of catching up and seeing what I've been up to, and also having a look at my lovely bike, which I'm really proud of because I cleaned all of it myself. And oh, that's what I was going to show you actually. This is what was on it originally, this basket. It just was a support for the old basket, but the previous owners hadn't even put that on correctly. So my dad was like, oh, get rid of that. And also he put the stand on. I'll show you that. I'll give him credit. So that's the stand, obviously, which is something we had in the garage, which he kind of just added to it. But it's amazing because it makes the bike stand up on its own. So I will leave this here. It's been lovely catching up, and hopefully I will be able to post things more regularly now. So have a lovely week, everyone, and I hope you're all at home looking after each other. And I hope this is all over really soon. Bye!